That was the greatest shot I've ever seen.
The worst was aiming at the horse.
All right.
Right.
Hey everyone, it's MJ.
Hi, I'm Gareth from Books, Songs, and Other Magic.
And we're here to talk about our favorite Western movies.
Yeah, so we're all taking part. We're co-hosting June on the Range, which is a great event where we celebrate Westerns, invented by Michael K. Vaughan. And he's said in the group that there's going to be a bunch of people putting up their top 10 favorite Western films. And we thought we'd do it together because it would be nice to have a chat as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. So you have your 10 all planned out. I have my 10. My 10. So mine, just so everyone knows, mine aren't ranked. It's just 10 that I could come up with off the top of my head. I got 2 honorable mentions in there as well, but I haven't seen them all probably in 20 years. So I'm just going off recollection.
Yeah, I was thinking about I might do a video about like what's the word, like adjacent stuff that people call is like a Western, or they talked about the Mandalorian that's like Westerns, and The Walking Dead ended up being quite like a Western in season 10 and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of a fascinating thing as well. And I mentioned it in Mad Max, but the thing with Mad Max is that I think it's very Australian as well, so that kind of sets it apart a little bit, I think. But I think it's interesting, I've not put any adjacent stuff in it. They're all proper Westerns.
Okay.
So yeah, but there's not a massive stress on the order for me either, but number one is definitely number one, but the rest of them not sure.
Okay. Well, I'll let you start. How's that?
Okay. Well, the first one I mentioned, I put it as number 10. It's actually a film I saw loads and loads of times as a kid. It kept being shown, which I think probably helps. But in this kind of period of Westerns, it's probably my favorite, which is it's a John Wayne one. So it's the only John Wayne one in there. So shock horror. But it's got Dean Martin in it. I think Dean Martin really shines in the film. He kind of carries the film a lot. So it's Rio Bravo.
Okay.
From 1959. And interestingly enough, when I was looking up the date, because I wanted to say what the dates were for the films, I was reminded of the fact that Lee Brackett wrote the screenplay. And she's, I've mentioned her a few times because she's a science fiction writer and one of Ray Bradbury's mentors, which is kind of funny, isn't it? But she did lots of film stuff. But yeah, Rio Bravo is a very slow film, but I think it's got a lot of charisma to it. And a lot of that's down to this. And now I'm going to sound like I haven't seen it for ages, but I think a lot of the plot is Dean Martin's an alcoholic gunfighter, I think, and he's kind of he's off the wagon, if that's the right word, or on the wagon. He's not drunk for a while. I think there's a risk of him going back to it, I think. But anyway, that's number 10 because I remember if it came on TV now, I'd watch it because I watched it so much as a kid, and it would be like, nice to see it again. So Rio Bravo is my number 10.
That's a lot of fun. I'm going to share a secret with you. I've never seen a John Wayne movie.
You've never seen a John Wayne movie?
John Wayne movie ever. Because my brother loved John Wayne movies. So I thought that I had to be separate and unique and apart from that. So I've never watched a single John Wayne movie in my entire 52 years.
Wow.
But I know the one you're talking about because I did love Dean Martin movies.
Okay. Yeah. And he did a few Westerns, I think.
Yeah, I know of it, but I've never seen it.
Right. So did you watch a lot of the Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis ones?
Oh, yeah. That 1,000%. Raised on PBS. Yes, that was my Saturday and Sunday. Black and white movies, all of the Rat Pack, all of it. Yep. Okay, so my first movie, and again, these are not in no particular order, is Giant. And Giant.
Oh, nice.
James Dean. It's with Rock Hudson and Elizabeth Taylor, and it is just epic. It is just epic. I was deep into a James Dean phase when I was in high school. So I had to watch every single movie that he was in. And I knew Giant was the last one that he was in, and it kind of showed you know, his character at being young and then growing up and then turning into something completely different as to how his character started. They aged him, and it was the last movie that he was in. And I don't know if he finished filming it or not. He may have died during production of it. I don't quite remember. But Giant, if you want a sprawling oil industry Western type movie, it's perfect. I think it's from
Yeah,
19-
I think he's quite celebrated, isn't he, in that performance of it? I think he
Yes.
was seen as a good actor, wasn't
Yeah. Hmm.
he? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very young Elizabeth Taylor, isn't it? I think is she a teenager in it?
She's
Yeah.
not a teenager. She's saucy. She's not a teenager, but yeah. If you Google, I was looking up, you know, just to get the gist as to who actually was in the movies, and I saw a couple movie stills of her with a lasso, and I'm like, ooh, that Liz had game back in the day. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. No, that's another one. That's the one. It's quite, as you say, it's quite epic. It'll be good to see that one again.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to make me think. I need to see these films again.
I know.
You know? Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch a John Wayne movie. Maybe.
There's I'd say there's 3 John Wayne films that are really celebrated. There's The Searchers and Stagecoach, are the 2 older ones, and True Grit, which I've got True Grit down, but spoilers, it's not that one. So we'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, I think those are 3 that you could look at. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he was an amazing actor. I think he was absolutely right for the roles he played.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why he became a legend, really, because those films kept getting made. I think, you know, if you look at other people like massive film stars like Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson and Tom Hanks, I think they're better actors, you know, than John Wayne. I think he just had the right films, you know.
Yeah. No, totally get that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But shall I go for the next one?
Sure.
The next one is one that it's very rare to see it on a list of westerns, because I don't know if you get this, but if someone asks you for a top 10 list, you go, okay, I need to have a look at some lists. I don't want to forget something, you know. And this wasn't coming up much, but I was thinking, well, I'm going to include this. So this is from 1995, so relatively early in the history of cinema, and it's Desperado.
Okay, I've seen a Desperado. I think I've seen a made-for-TV movie Desperado. I think. I don't think I've seen a movie theater version.
Well, this was the film that I'd say made Antonio Banderas famous.
Okay, yeah. Believe it or not, there was a Desperado that was made for TV. Like, you know,
Right.
on
The same plot or the same.
Yeah, and I remember that,
Yeah.
but I also kind of remember the Antonio Banderas one, but I've never seen it.
Okay. Yeah, Robert Rodriguez directed it, and he's just such a frenetic and
Yes.
you know, intense director. And there's lots of really interesting camera stuff. Like Sam Raimi, I think they both do lots of really interesting camera stuff, and they've got great sense of timing and stuff. And I think that's a lot of what makes the film great. Salma Hayek is the female lead, and obviously she's awesome.
I think I did.
And I think
I'm pretty sure I did see it now that you're naming off all the people that were in it. Yeah. I kind of remember that.
Yeah, I think it was a big deal for a while, and then they made Once Upon a Time in Mexico as well, with Johnny Depp in it, which is quite funny because he sort of tagged on the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like Desperado. I think a lot of it is down to the direction. I think he's got such an interesting style, Rodriguez. It's why I think the Spy Kids films are brilliant as well, because he did those. Do you like the Spy Kids films?
I've never seen them.
Oh.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I think I probably piggybacked off my kids with Spy Kids because they were really into them. But Spy Kids 2 is really, really good. It's a bit mad, but it's very, very cool. But yeah, I think that Robert Rodriguez is a really good actor. Director. So that's kind of where I'm coming from on that one. So yeah, Desperado, 1995.
Nice. All right. So I didn't get the year for this. I might have to Google it. But this was pure late 80s Young Guns.
Oh, Young Guns. Yeah. I'm going to guess 86. Well, I don't know.
You guess. And who was in Young Guns? Let's see if you can name them all.
Okay. Charlie Sheen.
Uh-huh.
Emilio Estevez.
Uh-huh.
The guy that played Richie Valens. What's his name? Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yes.
He was
Yes.
in it, wasn't he? I don't know who else was in it actually.
Dermot Mulrooney is in it, and
Okay.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland, of course he was. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It's from 1988, so I was 16 years old.
I didn't.
And
Yeah.
that was that the Blaze of Glory? Was that the John Bon Jovi song? Okay.
I think that was for Young Guns 2.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
2. Okay. Because I'm sure
so.
I know there was a second one too.
Yeah. They're talking about making a third one, aren't they?
I don't know. With the same people?
Yeah. Well,
No.
Emilio Estevez has made some announcement about that. I
Yeah.
really think Emilio Estevez is so underrated. I think he's a
I think so too.
fantastic actor. Yeah. He seems to have. I mean, I would assume it's through choice because he could have easily had a career where he's doing little things, but he must be doing something else. But it's just weird. His brother's the famous one, and he is so much better than his brother.
Right.
You know,
And his father, his father too.
his father's amazing. Yeah. I think his father's just a really good role model as well. I think Martin Sheen, stuff he's done outside the film has been real awesome as well.
He likes to hang out in my area a lot. He's like a guest faculty member at a local college. He likes to hang out. He likes to hang out.
Well, that's cool.
Which is kind of fun. But Young Guns had that camaraderie. It had a little bit of adventure and a lot of humor. There were just a lot of synergistic parts that just made the movie work, especially for the 80s.
Yeah. There's I mean, obviously, I think we've spoken before about how many great films there are in the 80s, and Young Guns is definitely a good example of that spirit, the energy that was in some of those films.
For sure.
Yeah, nice one. Who's the villain in that one? Is it like Jack Palance or someone like that?
No, let's see. They have Casey Semezko. I want to say Dermot Mulrooney. I think Dermot maybe. And Terrence Stamp. Terrence Stamp is John Saul. Yeah, Dermot Mulrooney's character is Dirty Steve. So anybody named Dirty Steve is probably not a good person.
Yeah, then Terrence Stamp kept playing villains, didn't he? Like it was his. They like casting English people as villains, don't they? So, he's got a very posh voice, doesn't he? So I suppose it was probably Terrence Stamp as well. But yeah, that's cool.
All right.
Shall I go on to the next one?
Who's your number 8?
My number 8. I really like this film. I've seen it a couple of times, and I just think it feels really unhinged. It feels like anything can happen at any point, and there's a really big, long action scene in it, which is just feels totally out of control. It's so well done. So it's The Long Riders.
I've never seen The Long Riders. When was that from?
Yeah. So that's from 1980. So it's an 80s one again, but it's not. It's not kind of massively commercial. But one of the things that's interesting, it's all about the James Gang, and the James Gang was full of like Jesse James and that, but also different family members. So like lots of different, like there was like a composite in real life. They were like a composite of different families.
Okay.
And for this film, Walter Hill, the director, who also did Platoon. No, it was Oliver Stone. Hold on. He also did, what did he? Hamburger Hill. That's right. That was Walter Hill. And he did some really cool things. 48 Hours. I think that's Walter Hill. But anyway, he decided to cast actual brothers as the different members of the gang.
Oh, nice.
So you've got 3 Carradine brothers: David Carradine, Robert Carradine, and the other one. And you've got Christopher Guest and Nicholas Guest, and you've got Stacy Keach and James Keach, I think is his brother. Stacy Keach is obviously more famous than his brother. I think they were. Another brothers. Say again.
Were they twins? The Keach brothers?
They look like each other. Yeah, maybe. So that was a nice little element to it that I thought was really interesting, and and I like a lot of those actors anyway. But just the way it's done, it's so. You feel like they're about to get caught right at the beginning of the film. Do you know what I mean? It feels like they're on borrowed time, and I think that's really cool. It adds a lot of atmosphere to the film, and then it doesn't end well.
Yeah, no.
But yeah. So yeah, I really like that film, The Long Riders, and I've seen every time I've seen it a few times. Every time I've seen it, I've just thought that was awesome, and it never gets because of the way it's filmed. It never gets stale.
It never gets old.
Yeah.
Nice. I've never seen it,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for it. Especially, I like the idea with that casting. That sounds super interesting.
Yeah.
Right, so my number 8 is another. I thought it was in the 80s, but it's in the 90s. Tombstone.
Tombstone. That's the one I would have. Yeah, out of the two films, because there was the White Earp one as well. And Tombstone is the one I would have picked as well if I'd have picked one of those. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
Tombstone
that. Dennis Quaid, isn't
it had Kurt Russell, Bill Paxton, Sam Elliott, and we have Val Kilmer, whose role is just iconic in that. So it's Wyatt Earp and his brothers have left their gunslinger ways behind them to settle down and start a business in town. And again, it has those elements that of not as much like brotherhood in Young Guns, but it still has the elements of that camaraderie, that feel, and the gunfight at the end, from what I recall, was pretty good. I'll be your
that's the hey.
Remember Val Kilmer's famous line? I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. No, that's one I need to see again, but I do like that film. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good choice. So shall I go for my next one?
Do it.
So I've hinted at this one because I said that I was going to mention this, but it's the other one. So this is the 2010 version of True Grit.
Okay.
So we've both read the book, haven't we now?
Yes. And I did the audiobook that was narrated by Donna Tartt.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I've actually I've borrowed this from someone at work to read at some point. Yeah, so he was telling me it's amazing. Gold. I'll do that later. The Coen brothers directed the remake, and the Coen brothers I'm a huge Coen brothers fan. I absolutely love them. And I think they made a lot of really interesting decisions, and the casting is fantastic. Jeff Bridges, I think, makes a really good lead. I'm pretty sure the character's called Rooster Cogburn. Is it Rooster Cogburn? I think it's Rooster Cogburn. I'm not confusing it with something else. And some people, I remember someone on BookTube recently said they didn't like Matt Damon being in it, but I'm a massive Matt Damon fan, so I was well happy with that. I think he's awesome. So I just think it's great, and I love the. I did see it before I read the book, so I only read the book last year for last year's June on the Range. So I'd have to see the film again to see any differences, and probably by then I've forgotten what I read in the book, so it's very difficult for me to make comparisons.
Yeah, I hear you.
But regardless of that, I just thought it was a great film. So and I love Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is my favorite actor. So
of all time?
Yeah, he's my one favorite actor.
Nice. I don't know if I have one, but that's just because I think my actor's cute, but I don't know who my favorite actor is. All right. So what are we on? Number 7 or number 8? I don't know.
Your number 7.
My number 7. Okay. My number 7 is Dances with Wolves. Do you remember Dances with Wolves? That's from 1990. And Civil War soldier develops a relationship with a band of Lakota Indians. And this movie, I remember when it first came out, it was like 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 45 minutes, something like that. And the female was no, I'm getting my names mixed up. The female that was in the movie was born in my area. So that was like our claim to fame is the best supporting actresses from our area. I think she was nominated. I don't know if she won or not.
It won a lot of Oscars, didn't it?
It did. Mary McDonnell. That's it. So Kevin Costner, Mary McDonnell, Graham Greene is in it. A lot of other people, and some fantastic Floyd Red Crow Westerman. If you've seen, modern movies, his appearances are just fantastic. He really is a standout actor. I think he was in Northern Exposure too. I think Floyd Red Crow. He just has that, I don't know, that cool, calm Indian energy. Love it. But this won a ton of Oscars when it first came out. And I remember I didn't watch it probably for like 10 years after. And I think my mom got the VHS tape. And that's when I watched it. And she's like, come on, let's watch Dances with Wolves together. And I said, all right, let's watch it. And I was just like obsessed. I was obsessed. I wanted to learn more about the Lakota Indians. I wanted to travel. I wanted to do all these things. So Dances with Wolves for me, that's my number 7.
Mary McDonnell,
Yeah.
she's the one. I'm pretty sure I got the name right. She's the one that was in Battlestar Galactica, isn't it? And she's doing the cop thing at the minute, isn't it? That's definitely her, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't really followed her since Dances with
If it's her, I might check in a minute. But she's amazing. I think it is the same person I'm thinking of. I'm sure she played the president in Battlestar Galactica. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really important start to a more public and, if you like, mainstream conversation about the Native Americans, isn't it?
Yes.
It was quite a big moment, I think, in cinema.
I think so
that
too.
film.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so my number 6 is one I've seen so many times, and literally gets shown on our TVs a lot. And when it gets shown, I have to stop what I'm doing and watch it. I was like, okay, this is on, so I have to stop my life for an hour and watch the end of it. Doesn't matter where I am in the film, I have to watch the rest of it.
I call those drop-in movies. You just drop in wherever it's at, and you're watching it. Yep.
Yeah, and it works. Yeah, partly because I've seen it so many times, but partly just because, for me, there's loads of, I don't know, there's loads of energy in it, and even though there was tons of films made like it at the time, there's something about it that's really cool. And it could be that Doc Holliday is played by Kirk Douglas. So I'm talking about the gunfight at the OK Corral in 1957 with Burt Lancaster as Wyatt Earp. And I think, I haven't got any notes on this, but I think the main female lead is quite famous as well. Can't remember who it is. But I just love it, absolutely love it. And yeah, I think, Kirk Douglas is another one of my favorite actors. This list is full of my favorite actors, so I think that's a big part of the Western thing, because I think there's a lot of space. A lot of time they don't have a lot of dialogue, and if you think someone's cool, then obviously in a Western they're going to look even more cool, right? So right. I think it works for that, doesn't it?
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, even Jeff Bridges as an old man who's clearly well past it and is drunk and all that still seems cool in that film. But and I suppose actually Kirk Douglas has got a drinking problem all the way through this film, but Kirk Douglas is always cool in my head. And I guess Burt Lancaster is the serious one, the straight one, the one that's trying to make sure that he's doing the right thing with justice, like the same character in Tombstone would be doing. But yeah, I just love it, absolutely love it.
Awesome.
So yeah, gunfight at OK Corral.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. I may have, but I don't know the title. I would have to watch it to see if I experienced it before.
Yeah. The other thing about that film, actually, and literally as I was writing it down, the song that starts the film, I know it backwards, and it goes in my head as I'm writing the words "Gunfight at OK Corral." I can hear the song, and I know all the words. I won't sing it now, but yeah, it's there's something about the song as well. I love the song. I can't remember who sang the song. It was big name in American 50s music as well. What? Anyway, yeah, I love the song as well. So cool. Yeah, all about Boot Hill, where they end up buried. Yeah. So what's your number 6?
My number 6 is Two Mules for Sister Sarah, and that's Eastwood. And I saw that movie on, I want to say it was PBS. I'm not 100%, but I was an impressionable teenager when I watched that movie, and I was like, what am I watching? I need to watch more. So it was from 1970. Clint Eastwood plays a character named Hogan, who discovers a group of men attempting to rape a young nun, Sarah. He shoots them dead and rescues the woman to escape to a nearby camp of Mexican revolutionaries who have hired Hogan to help fight the invading French army. En route, Sarah turns out to be surprisingly crude for a nun, drinking, smoking, and using curse words. And she also proves to be handy with a gun. Hogan begins wondering if she is telling him the whole truth. So there were so many elements of that movie. Number one, the 70s style, full out. Number two, the relationship between the two, because there is some sexual tension going on. And number three, just having that fierceness in a female character from the 70s. I was there for it. Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet to say I must have been 12 or 13 when I saw that movie.
So awesome role model.
And it was the TV version. So it's not, if there was anything nasty in it, I didn't see it. It was the made for it was, commercials and all that.
Who was playing the female lead again?
I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, because that'd be interesting, because obviously that's the big role. And I think it was someone famous.
Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah, Shirley MacLaine. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. Big role for her as well. Yeah.
I love Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah. She seems to be underrated at the moment. Obviously, she's a big star, would have been talked about in the past, but I don't know if she's talked about as much anymore, which is a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, she needs to come back.
Yeah. Just trying to. All right, so that's an awesome choice. I love that. There's a string of 70s and 80s Eastwood westerns that are interesting, aren't there? Like, and they're a little bit like, some of them are a little bit different as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is quite controversial, and you've got to be the right person to watch it. So it's from 2015, so it's the most recent one. But it blew me away when I saw it. I had no idea it was going to be like it was, so it was quite a shock. And it's called Bone Tomahawk. So if you're watching this and you know the film I'm talking about, you'll be like, oh, okay. You didn't know what was going to happen, because it's got Kurt Russell in it, Matthew Fox, and what's the guy that Patrick Wilson. It's an indie film, because I remember watching a bit on YouTube from the director about how he got the money to make it, and that he really wanted to do it as a passion project kind of thing. And it's quite a unique film, but it's really I would say it starts off with a woman being abducted, and then Patrick Wilson, who plays I think he's the husband. It's either him or Matthew Fox. I think it's Patrick Wilson. He plays the husband who wants to get a posse together to try and rescue her. So they go off on horses as a posse to rescue, or to find and then rescue, his wife. Right, I say rescue because it all goes horribly wrong. But part of the reason why it goes horribly wrong, because the people that rescued her are horrendous, and it gets really horrific and horrible. It's basically a horror film, but it's a Western. So I won't tell you exactly why it becomes a horror film, because if you're interested in seeing it, it's good for the surprise value, but it's much more graphic and horrible and nasty and ugly than you would be expect to see if you didn't hear anything about it. If you're just watching it, oh cool, they're going to rescue some woman, and then some of it I found really uncomfortable to watch, and I'm pretty desensitized. I think I can probably watch anything, but some of it I was like, oh, this is horrible, so yeah, Bone Tomahawk is amazing if you're the right person for it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so my next one is pretty tame compared to that. It's Unforgiven, another Clint Eastwood. And that was another Oscar, Western takes over the Oscar from 1992. I think that cleaned out all of the awards as well. So that was Gene Hackman, Clint Eastwood, Richard Harris. Remember Richard Harris?
Yeah, I love Richard Harris.
And Anna Thompson. And that, I remember watching it. I think I watched it before the Oscars, but completely, it has the same, Westerns kind of have the same thing. There's always something that needs a little rescuing, something that needs a little revenge, something that needs a little protection. You know, they're going after the bad guy. There's always some kind of a bad situation. And it just, I don't know, it just worked. And it's one that I think about when somebody says Western, I'll be like, Unforgiven.
Yeah, absolutely. Gene Hackman is amazing in that film.
Yeah. I think
I mean, he's pretty
won
much
for
amazing.
that.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Did he win Best Supporting Actor? Did he?
I don't know. I wish I
He
had
might have.
I had like the, you know, all of the different Emmys and stuff like that. Morgan Freeman was in it. Anna
Oh
Thompson.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, really good.
yeah. No, I think it's an important moment for Clint Eastwood as well, because I think by that point the Dirty Harry films had stopped, and I think his career was getting a little bit more like other people were taking over the mantle of the big leading man. I think that was his sort of like, you know, a moment to shine again after a bit of a gap, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah. Somewhere
so,
in there, he had the Bridges of Madison County too.
But again, but his character's very old, isn't it? It's very romantic, kind of like an old person thing rather than a hero kind of character. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's where Unforgiven was coming from as well. So I think interesting kind of turning point in his career, I think. But yeah, I have got an Eastwood film in this list. I haven't got there yet, but I have got a Clint Eastwood film.
You got one? Okay.
I've got one.
A lot of them.
I think my list is a bit I don't know, it's not strange, but it's maybe less predictable. I don't know, not from yours, but from a lot of people. I don't know, I think a lot of people will include the searches and stuff like that, and maybe I don't know, but yeah, I've only got one Eastwood film, which seems a bit weird now, but yeah, he's amazing. He's it's funny because he doesn't do a lot, but it works. It really works. There's a lot. I think acting, so much of acting is in what you can do with your face.
Yes.
You know, screen acting. A lot of people, I think, get away with a lot because of their voice, because I'd say Morgan Freeman's got a great voice, and I think that carries him a lot. But I think there are people like Eastwood that do actually do quite a lot with their face. So I think
it's his whole presence, you know, from head to toe. Eastwood just has this vibe that is able to be replicated in a number of different Western movies, where he's almost like the common denominator, but then each character that he plays is different. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do know what you mean. Yeah, it's Eastwood, but you absolutely believe it's someone else.
Yes. But then there's that the familiarity of the way that he squints his eyes or the way that he holds his body. Like there's something that connects all of them. That's
yeah.
I lost you there for a moment.
No, totally agree. Shall I go with my number 4?
Yeah.
So my number 4 is the oldest one, I think, in the list. Yes, the oldest one in the list, and I love it. Absolutely love it. It's a rare thing, and that's a film that is played out in real time. And I like that. It doesn't happen very often. I think I don't know. I can't even think of many. Phone Booth was in real time. I don't know of many others. But this is High Noon from 1952, with Gary Cooper as the sheriff that's waiting for these bad guys to come back, and he's like, I need to face them, and his wife is like, or I think fiance, I think they're about to get married, I think, from what I remember, and she's going, can we just go? And he's like, I can't just go, because this town is going to get like overridden by these arseholes, you know, and I've got to stay, you know. She's like, but we could go, I've got to stay. It was all that. It's like an hour of, you can go, no, I need to stay. And then there's like the confrontation at the end. So good. So I think, again, that's a bit of an acting thing, you know, because there isn't a lot of plot, but you feel that sense that he thinks he could die, but needs to stay because he needs to stay for the town. So it's like a principle thing. He feels like it's his responsibility. He owns it. That's just fantastic. Real heroism and real tension, you know, for the gunfight at the end and all that. So yeah, I think High Noon's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant film.
Love it. All right.
I don't think it's dated either. Yeah, Glenn, you're number 4.
I'm surprised you didn't have this one on your list, from 1969, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah. Could have been. It could have been. Great film.
That's such like not classic, but when you think of partnerships, these two, I mean, it's chef's kiss because you have again that brotherhood feeling. You have the feeling of a little bit of competition, and then you have just the a little bit of comedy in there too. It's just
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's good.
And a bit of romance as well.
The what?
And a bit of romance as well.
Yes, So it's the true story of fast draws and wild rides. And it was an Academy Award winner for Best Original Music Score. How about that?
Yeah. But Bacharach.
Yes.
Raindrops keep falling on my head. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Yes. So good. And it's only, I mean, honestly, it's only an hour and 50 minutes and they pack a bunch. They pack a ton in there. And I don't think I've ever seen Paul Newman or oh, why is my
Robert Redford.
I'm having a senior moment. Robert Redford.
Robert Redford, yeah.
I don't think they've ever looked better.
Yeah. And it's got the ending. It's got the ending.
There is an ending. And is my memory serving me correctly? Wasn't there the dive with the horse? Was there a dive, like a jump while they were on a horse? Am I thinking of a different movie? But like he's riding a horse and they went off the cliff and they survived. They kind of had to get away.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's
kind of like a Thelma and Louise moment, but make it cowboy.
Yeah. Well, the Thelma and Louise thing, right. I think it's definitely a reference because look, clearly Thelma and Louise, they know it's not going to go well when they go off the cliff.
Yes.
Whereas I love the fact with Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, they kind of look at each other and they're like, well, we need to go that way. Let's just do it, sort of thing. We'll see what happens, sort of thing. Yeah. So I love that, which is kind of, I think that's referenced in The Thing. So when Kurt Russell and forgotten his name, the other guy, can't remember his name. When they are sort of left at the end, they're like, let's go. You just don't know how it ends, sort of thing. So yeah, awesome, brilliant. Yeah, good choice.
Love it. Next, who you got?
Number three is the Clint Eastwood film.
Ooh, which one?
Dun, dun, dun. So I have gone for the 1964 groundbreaking film that changed cinema, changed westerns with the help of a couple of other films, Fistful of Dollars.
Ooh, I've seen that one.
Yeah. I think the Dollar trilogy is amazing, but for me, there's two things I love about Fistful of Dollars. So out of all three of the trilogy, it's my favorite.
Which other ones are in the trilogy?
So you got Fistful of Dollars. That's the first one, and then for a few dollars more.
Okay.
And then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure my next movie wasn't one in the trilogy.
Well, a lot of people say The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the best one, and I understand why, because it's quite epic. But I love the plot of Fistful of Dollars. The fact that he's basically manipulating two sides that are against each other for his own ends. It's also a remake of Yojimbo, which is a Japanese film by Kurosawa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the second time that's happened. Because in a minute, second time it's happened. Second time that we're going to, well, it's first time I suppose, but there's another example of that we're going to talk about later. But Kurosawa is interesting because he was influenced by films like Stagecoach and some of the John Ford films, and then he ended up making films that Western directors ended up wanting to emulate and copy themselves. Okay. So Yojimbo is about samurai that manipulates two sides of this warring faction, and Fistful of Dollars got the same plot. So I think that's really cool. Yeah. But also, out of the three films, it's my favorite set of music by Morricone. And Morricone's music is just amazing. And there's a track called Titoli, which is just so awesome. Doesn't matter how many times you hear it, it feels like the first time you've heard it. And it's very famous, but I just think that's just amazing. I think they use it again in for a few dollars more as well. But yeah, just love Morricone's music in it. And one of the things I also love about the Sergio Leone films is he directed them around the music. So he said to Morricone, so that's the only example I know where the director asked the composer to write a bunch of incidental music, and then he was like, right, I'll make the film now, and he used the music while he was making the film.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's mad. Yeah. So
Now, is this one that they call a spaghetti western?
yeah, kind of invented it. Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure. You're the
Yeah.
music expert, not me.
Well, then there was tons and tons and tons of films that ripped that off and became, because most spaghetti westerns are obviously, the whole point is the name comes from the fact that it's like an Italian crew.
Yes.
And they're Italian directors and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of them are Italian actors that don't speak English and they're like overdubbed later and all that sort of stuff. There's loads of those kind of films. So the famous ones are, you know, full of American actors, but the less famous ones, there were these hundreds that came after it, are very Italian, you know. But yeah, Fistful of Dollars I think is amazing.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is considered a spaghetti western, but this is my last Clint Eastwood movie, and it's High Plains Drifter from 1973. So
Yeah.
this is let's see, a drifter with no name. Wanders into a small town where his gunslinging abilities are in high demand. When the drifter rides into Lago, he's met with sorry, it took me right over to my camera. Hold on. It took me right over. Let's see. He's met with incredulity and disapproval by the townspeople. But once he shows his skills with a pistol, the locals realize he may be able to help them fend off a band of criminals who've been terrorizing the town. So it's just that type of a western. He plays the strong guy that's gonna stop the bullies from bullying the townspeople. I'm here for it. So I don't know who directed it. I don't know anything like that. I don't know if it would be considered to be. And how about this? It actually says western / horror.
Well, is that the one? I'm pretty sure High Plains Drifter might be the one where he paints the town in red at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he paint it?
he does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a sort of a welcome to hell kind of element to it by the end of it, and I think it kind of leads to that. But yeah, it's a great film. Yeah, it's an American director though, so I think it's influenced by the spaghetti westerns and the fact that he had no name, and obviously he doesn't have a name in the trilogy, the Dollars trilogy.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely influenced by spaghetti westerns. Yeah. It like bleeds into. I mean, they were utterly groundbreaking, those films. So there's lots of films that ended up being like looking like spaghetti westerns, definitely.
For sure.
But yeah,
cool.
Brilliant.
Who you got next?
So the last two. So this is actually another Sergio Leone film. So that's number two. So this is. It's another. Well, it is a spaghetti western, but it's not a Clint Eastwood spaghetti western.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So after he did the Dollars trilogy, so this comes from 1968. So he'd already done. Well, I say that. It's only 4 years after Fistful of Dollars. So I don't know whether he'd done Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Thinking about it, I'm not sure what the date is of that one. But he'd already done the first two for definite. And anyway, he does this massive, epic film, really long, actually, ridiculously long film called Once Upon a Time in the West. Have you seen that one?
No, but it sounds familiar.
It's the main two actors are Charles Bronson and Henry Fonda.
No, but I know, I remember watching their movies in the 70s and 80s, but I can't picture a movie with them together, so probably no. Yeah,
well, the music is incredible. It's one of my favorite scores by Morricone. Absolutely beautiful music. It's very long. It's very slow. It's all about the development of the railroads as well in America, which is interesting because it doesn't really get touched a lot in film. And Henry Fonda is like horrible character in it. he I know that he's on record as saying he enjoyed the fact he was playing a villain after playing a heroic character or a good guy or someone nice previously. So Henry Fonda is the kind of villain of it, if you like. Charles Bronson's out for revenge, and I actually use the first 5 minutes of the film in teaching a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, there's it's just fantastic example. If you ever get to see the first few, there is a clip on YouTube of the first 5 minutes of the film, and there's no score. It's just Foley. It's just the sound of what's happening. Right, there's like there's a fly. That's a lot of the sound design, and there's a guy trying to get rid of the fly. There's the wind. What do you call them? Like a wind breaker kind of thing. It's going. Ee-oo, ee-oo, ee-oo. You know, and they're waiting for this train to arrive, and there's all these sounds at the station, and it just creates this real tension. It's amazing, but it's not because of the music. So usually music creates tension, right?
Yeah.
But
So
in this scene, the way it's done, it's just the sound.
It's the silence and the sound effects.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just so amazing. So that's a lot of the reason why I love it. But actually, it's just there's also a harmonic, because he's just called, Charles Bronson's character is just called the man with the harmonica. That's what he's called in the credits. And he's got this motif that happens as well whenever he's on screen, or there's a moment of him firing a gun or something. This harmonica thing would happen, and that's really cool as well. So yeah, it's a very long film, but it's brilliant. So yeah, Once Upon a Time in the West is my number 2.
Nice. All right, so my number 2 is a little different, but it's still a Western, Legends of the Fall from 1990.
Yeah.
So Legends of the Fall, 1990. I know Brad Pitt is in it. Who else is in it? Anthony Hopkins, Aidan Quinn. Remember him?
Yeah.
So good. And Julie Ormond, Henry Thomas from E.T. And I think that's pretty much all of the names that I recognize, but there are a ton. And the landscape in this movie is just chef's kiss. It's wonderful. You have a little bit of adventure. You have a love story. Is it the brothers? They're brothers, and they're trying to get something off the ground, and then they have a common love interest.
Yeah. It's like a family.
That's kind of what I'm remembering. Yeah, but you know, if you're looking for a Western, Legends of the Fall. So good.
Yeah, I think Aidan Quinn's quite underrated, actually.
Absolutely. Love him. Love him, love him, love him. I don't even know what he's been in.
Cool. I'm sure he's the villain in Stakeout. You know, the Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss cop film, Stakeout. Have you ever seen that?
I kind of remember it.
Yeah, I like that film a lot, and I'm pretty sure he's the guy. They're kind of waiting for, they're watching for this guy who's coming out of prison, and they're protecting this woman, and he's a nasty piece of work. This you know, and Aidan Quinn does it really well. I'm absolutely certain it's him. He was
in Benny and June. He was. He was in Practical Magic. Yeah, he's one of those actors that kind of, you see him in a lot of different things.
Yeah, kind of keeps busy, but doesn't get his own films.
Yeah, but I also recognize him when I see that name. I'm like, ooh, I love him.
Yeah.
Surely
underrated. Absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. Right, my number 1.
Both of our number 1.
Yeah, so we're both talking about the same film, so we can talk for an hour about it now. We can't be long at all. But yeah, 1960, John Sturges, the masterpiece that is The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
And this is a remake of The Seven Samurai. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So The Seven Samurai is long. That's like a 3-hour samurai film, but it's incredible. It's absolutely ridiculous film. And the last battle, because it's exactly the same plot. There's like 7 samurai that are protecting a village from these bandits, and the last battle is in the rain, and it's so evocative. It's so powerful. So, you know, go see the original anyway. But yeah, this film, I just love it. I've seen it, I don't know how many times. I must have seen it at least 40 times. And I know it backwards. I used to, when I was a kid, I used to take pride in the fact that I could mention all the actors that were playing the Seven.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's a bit geeky, isn't it? It was like, oh well, did you know? You know, I'm sure some people might be going, all right, Gareth, it's not that important, you know. But they'd miss out Brad Dexter or Horst Coles. You know what I mean? I know those two as well, you know. But yeah, James Coburn's my favorite in it. But Charles Bronson's brilliant in it. He's really good in it. And Robert
Yul
Vaughan,
Brynner's in it too, right?
yeah, Yul Brynner's Chris. Yeah, Yul Brynner, like keeps the film together in many ways because so they're all brilliant. But I think Yul Brynner is in most of the scenes.
Yes.
And yeah, he's an amazing actor, absolutely amazing.
So I, on the other hand, have only seen the movie once, and
right.
it was on PBS, and I didn't know. I said, I've heard a lot about this movie. I'm going to give it a go, and I probably watched it when I was, living at home from college, and I just turned it on and I watched it, and I'm like, that's the best freaking movie I've seen in a long time, and I'm like, why didn't anybody ever tell me about this movie? And I just loved it, and I loved it for a lot of the same reasons where I like all these others. You have that friendship, the camaraderie. You have people bickering, but then they're getting together. They're banding together for a common cause to, get rid of a bad guy or save a town or whatever. And it's just has this good energy in it.
Yeah. And I tell you what, we've talked about Morricone's music. Elmer Bernstein's music in this film is insane. It's like everyone knows it, dun 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 dun. It's so glorious. It's so obviously one of the best scores ever written. It's like they're great tunes, but they absolutely fire the action in the film. The adrenaline in the music is crazy. And like when there's a moment when I remember it's doing the bit where it's going when they're just sort of riding together, and then when they stop because they want to look and see what's in front of them, and they'll stop. The music sort of goes, and then like just chills out for a minute, and then when they get going again, it's like jum 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 jum, and that's like, oh my god, this is insane. So yeah, it just makes me smile, and it is slow. There are a couple of scenes where like there's a bit where kind of film slows down when they're kind of like chilling out with the villagers, and they have this like evening party thing, and they're giving them food and but it's really important to the plot though. So I think the impact of that final battle is because they've become enmeshed in the town. Do you know what I mean? And they are accepted by them, and they feel like they want to protect them. And I don't think that would have been the same if they didn't have that in there.
Right.
So I think it's an important part of it. So if anyone watches it and thinks, "God, this is a bit long," I think it helps the film. But you can't deny that. Certainly, most of the Seven just look so cool in the film as well.
For sure. Yeah, especially when is it the movie poster where they're all standing next to each other, shoulder to shoulder? Yeah,
yeah.
It's
it's legendary. People refer to it all the time, don't they? I know me and my mates when we were we were probably about 14. We used to call ourselves the Magnificent Seven because we'd go out bike riding and playing outside and stuff together. But and I've seen it referenced loads of times, different things. Do you know about the because I've watched a documentary about it, and do you know about the Steve McQueen thing about his is that you or me?
That was me. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. Do you know about Steve McQueen being a little bit put out that he wasn't the main part? Do you know about this?
A little bit, yeah, because along with James Dean, I'm a little bit of a McQueen fan too, because McQueen reminds me of my dad a lot, So he had very McQueen energy. So yeah, I do remember there being a little bit of drama about that.
Yeah, so I refer to it with my students sometimes because I say don't do a Steve McQueen. So if they're in a song and they're like, there's someone singing and they're playing all over the vocal bit, it's like, no, this is the bit for the vocals, don't play all over it. And apparently when they were filming it, if Yul Brynner had a bit where he had some dialogue and he had to do something important, but Steve McQueen was in the shot, he'd do something to distract the viewer so they were watching him and not Yul Brynner.
Oh, gotcha.
He'd be like sort of scratching his head or doing
Yeah.
something that made and I just think that's hilarious because he was a fantastic second character, and
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been the same. Yul Brynner was the right person to play Chris, I think.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree.
And Stephen King did brilliant. So it's like, come on, Steve, calm down, relax, man. Just enjoy your show.
Yeah. Now, did you see the modern remake of The Magnificent Seven?
Yes, I did. I did enjoy it. And there were some really cool things about it. I like the way it was cast. I think the thing with the new one was it was really good. Really enjoyed it. But then I also thought if I'm going to watch it again, I'll watch the original.
Yeah. Yeah. I have it.
So
I knew that they were doing it. I remember seeing it, and I'm like, I can't. I just can't. I can't do it. So I'm a very purist when it comes to that stuff sometimes.
Yeah. I like Denzel Washington. He played the Chris character. I don't even know if he was called Chris in the remake, but he played the main guy that had to get the seven together. And I like Denzel Washington, but I feel like I like him better in roles that he's not in charge, if you like. Because there's something, I don't know, it's the same with Will Smith. There's some sort of extra arrogance about him that puts me off a little bit. I'm not sure. So you don't get that with Yul Brynner. He's just doing a job.
Right.
But it felt, I don't know, there's a cockiness to Denzel Washington, I feel like. But Ethan Hawke's in it, and Ethan Hawke's awesome.
Lovely.
Oh god, the guy that played Kingpin recently, a really, really good actor. Oh my god, I can't remember the name. He's amazing in Full Metal Jacket. Why can't I remember? Really big guy. Certainly big nowadays. Can't remember his name, but he's in it as well. But yeah, I mean, I did like it. But yeah, do you know about the 80s sci-fi remake?
80s sci-fi remake of what?
So you've got like Seven Samurai's original one.
Okay.
Magnificent Seven is the classic Western that we all talk about because it's a masterpiece. Yeah. And then in the 80s, you had this really cheesy film called Battle Beyond the Stars.
No.
And it's if we watched it now, I'm gonna try and watch it. I'm gonna find it somewhere. But if you watched it now, I bet it's on YouTube. But it's gonna be one of those ones you go, oh my god. But I loved it when I was a kid, but I was like really young when it came out. But Robert Vaughn's in it, so obviously he's in the original, and they managed to get him in it.
Oh wow!
To play one of the seven that are helping this kid out to defeat these aliens. But Battle Beyond the Stars. I know there's a reptilian guy. They're like all in these spaceships trying to beat these aliens. There's like 7 of them. It's yeah. It's
an homage. It's an homage to the Magnificent
Seven. It's an homage, yes. Sci-fi homage to Magnificent Seven. But yeah, just such an incredible film. I just think you can't fault it.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad we ended on that. That's the only common film that we have in our list. But wow, what movies did we cover in this video? There's some good ones.
Yeah. Sure. And all 20 films are worth watching, aren't they? So
yeah, and everybody that's watching in the comment section in both of our videos, let us know what your favorite movie is out of our list, or what one do you want to watch the most this June?
Yeah, which one have we left out? That you're like, why did you leave that out? 20 films, you left this one out. Let us know.
I know what everybody's going to say. MJ, you need to go watch a blah 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 film. You know who?
There was John Wayne. Yeah. I thought it was great. It's lovely doing it together. We should do this again.
Yeah. I'm so glad I thought of it. All right. Well, we're wrapping up. We're just coming up on an hour, so I think we should let people go, right? But thank you so much for watching either of our channels. We appreciate your support. Make sure to give whatever channel you're watching one of these, and subscribe, right?
And if you got this far in the video, I'm gonna copy what some of you guys say. If you got this far in the video, then please leave a an emoji of MJ's face on my channel and an emoji of my face on MJ's channel.
No, leave a flower on Garrett's channel and leave a cowboy on my channel. How's that?
No. Leave a tiger on MJ's channel and leave a small bucket of water on my channel. Your turn.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, buddy, let's wrap it up.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.